Jim, what's up, buddy? Give it a few minutes. It's going to take people probably a few minutes to find us. I'm going to use the first so many minutes of each stream on these to just kind of say what's up, interact, whatnot, before we kind of get on to what we're going to discuss or talk about in the stream each time. See if anyone else shows up. Try to get a stream in here before BITG goes live. And so, what up, brother, man? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope all is good with you. I'm not doing too bad, man. I'm not doing too bad at all, actually. I'll get into more of everything here as we get in. I'm going to let some people kind of filter in. We'll give it a few minutes, and then we'll just kind of jump in for today's stream, today's topics, whatnot. Hope you guys are doing well. It's been an interesting almost week, I guess, basically a week. So, but I don't know. I don't know if people get. Did you guys get notifications, or did you guys find it through Twitter when I reposted it? Did they even notify you that I was live? They may or they may not have. I don't know. I don't know enough about StreamYard. I'm not used to, having to use certain other apps for streaming, as this is a new channel, but it's all good. It'll work. You got the Discord Twitter alert. Okay. All right. I did not get a notification. Yeah. So, I mean, that's why we're 3 minutes in here and people are just slowly now getting here. So, makes sense. So, but anyway, I'm going to just kind of start diving in, kind of what's on my mind, my thoughts. First of all, I hope everybody is doing well. I hope everybody's been good. Basically, since the last time I did an auction last Tuesday, not this week, I decided not to do an auction because on the other channel, because my father, my nephew, my stepmother just actually left this morning. What's up, Don? How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Thanks for popping in. So they just stopped. They just left this morning. What's up, Balls? Love you too, brother. Hope you're doing well, my man. Hope you're doing well. Closing in on a big milestone. Maybe you can give me the magic number again. I'd have to look at my phone to figure out where we're at. But I just want to take a second to give a special shout out to my man, my good brother, my friend, really close friend, Matt Balsley. He is closing in on a year sober from pretty much being somebody who drank daily and alcohol being a big part of his life to closing in on getting close to a year. I don't know what the actual number is. I don't know. He texted me, I don't know how many days ago, and told me. I don't know where we're at now, but again, just want to recognize the real, recognize the things that are really important, and that's something huge. And I actually sent him a message and I told him, what are you going to do when you hit the year? Like, you got to do something big, man. That's a big milestone. That's a big deal. And you should definitely treat it as one. So you're so close. You're so close. Nice. 318 days. So 365 minus 318, you guys can figure it out. Month and a half or so, probably about a month and a half or so out. So, and anyway, again, shout out to Balls. But getting back to what I was starting on here. So my father, my nephew, my stepmother, they took off this morning. They left at about 8:30 Central Standard Time. And I was actually kind of surprised. I mean, I knew late yesterday that they were going to be leaving today, and I figured my dad would want to get going early in the morning to get a jump. They're driving back to Florida. You know, it's about a 22 hour drive if you go straight through. They weren't planning on going straight through. They're going to take their time. That's why they were leaving today. They were going to get to like Memphis or somewhere and hopefully be there by 8-9 o'clock and, you know, get a hotel and just kind of relax and take it easy and get some rest. But yeah, they ended up showing up last Wednesday. So they got here last Wednesday afternoon. Obviously, a lot of you know that my grandmother had passed. Me and my sister had the opportunity to go and visit her one last time before she did pass. That visit wasn't a visit that you would think would be one where, you know, you would actually be able to really talk to her and she would acknowledge and talk back, because she was already in a more or less a comatose state, if you will, already given a lot of morphine. Hospice had taken over. But as I had mentioned, as I had said in tweets and whatnot, you know, I was at peace with being able to see her before she finally actually passed. And, you know, for some people, grandparents are not, you know, grandparents are grandparents regardless, right? But for some people, maybe they didn't have that connection. Maybe they didn't have that relationship that they wish they could have had because of age, because of, you know, whatever, just not being around. There's a lot of different factors. But for me personally, I was very, very close to my grandmother. My sister was very, very close to my grandmother. I used to go and spend weekends with them. I remember when I was, you know, when my grandfather was still alive. He passed over 25 years ago. She's been widowed for that long, you know, on her own pretty much most of that time until she got in the nursing home, living on her own. But I used to go to their house, and I remember my grandfather used to, he had a wood shop in the garage. He used to like build me ramps for my bikes and stuff. But anyway, we'd go and we'd do a lot of fun stuff, and I always had that connection with her. I remember I'd taken her to the zoo when I was, after I'd gotten my license, actually, after I turned 16. One of her big things is she wanted to go to the Minnesota Zoo. She had never gone to the Minnesota Zoo. So that was one thing that I really remember that I brought her to, that she wanted to do. And again, had a very, very close connection with her. You know, I go back and I ponder over this last week or so, and there's one thing there's a time that sticks out most that's really more current. And, you know, this was before the pandemic hit. Me and my sister would go and visit her every single Thursday. Every single Thursday after work, we would drive out there. We'd either stop and get dinner and grab her food too. We would communicate with her. Sometimes she would say, I kind of like what they're making today. She didn't usually like anything they were making, but there would be times where she would like what they were making at the nursing home. But there was a specific time where my sister and brother-in-law and nieces and stuff, they were on vacation. They went to Florida. So my sister obviously wasn't going to be able to make it. And I had told my sister and told my grandmother and everybody else that, don't worry, Grandma, I'll still show up. I'm still going to come and see you on Thursday. And I don't know why there was ever any doubt. I don't know why anybody ever doubted that I would or I wouldn't go. But when I did go, I stopped and I picked us up dinner. She loved, there was a restaurant in town called Brewster's, and she absolutely loved their taco salad. And they always had a special on the taco salads on Thursdays. So I stopped, I picked up dinner. I remember walking in, um, walking in the cafeteria, and she was, again, she was happy. She was kind of surprised to see me, which I thought was at somewhat a little funny, because I feel like I've always been someone who's been a man of my word. When I say I'm going to do something, I do it. Typically follow through and do it. And just the smile and the happiness. And it was a beautiful day outside. And I'm like, Grandma, let's go outside. And she kind of snickered at her dinner buddies at the table, whatever, and got her walker, and we headed outside. And I remember we sat there outside at the table, ate dinner, and probably one of the longest visits I've ever actually had. And it was just me and her one-on-one, and just talked about so much. And I continued to bring this up, as we saw family this weekend and as we were at the funeral and stuff. And I continued to remind everybody that she was more than happy with her life. She had lived a long life. She had seen a lot of things, done a lot of things. And we had almost lost her 2.5, almost 3 years ago, I think now, right when we had first put her in the nursing home. And at that point, she was pretty much begging to go. And then she fought through and, got back to being old grandma, which was almost a miracle. So we got that extra time with her. That time was cut a little short, due to the pandemic and whatnot. But I remember sitting outside and us having a long conversation, and her just being giddy like a kid. I mean, she was a lady. She was a very tough, funny, had a great personality. She was not afraid to tell you where to stick it if she felt something or she felt a certain way. But I remember her pointing at my car as we're sitting outside eating and going, "Is that your car?" And I said, "Yeah, Grandma, it's my car." She said, "Do you want to go get ice cream?" And I was like, "Sure, Grandma, I'd love to, but are they going to let me take you out?" "Oh, sure. I think we just got to sign me out, whatever." Sure enough. So we ended up going into town, getting ice cream, taking her for a car ride. And I think back, and, as much as death is very, very hard, it's very hard for a lot of people. We're all going to die one day. There's nothing that's going to keep us from staying alive forever. But there's a lot that comes around, and there's a lot, I put in the title as well, everything happens for a reason. I had been kind of holding back on getting a new vehicle, and my vehicle actually took a crap. I thought I blew the head gasket. And yeah, some people may be like, "Oh, this guy, he sells powertrain products, whatever." Well, we don't sell engines for cars. So I don't have any special hookup. I can't get special pricing on car engines. So I thought my head gasket was blowing, because everything I had checked, everything I was looking at, I was putting coolant in while I was running, it would overheat and it would just suck it out right away. Well, my grandmother passes. It obviously brings my father up, right? My father, my stepmother, my nephew. And my father has always been very good with fixing things, especially vehicles. He's worked on cars his whole life. He's swapped out full engines in vehicles, etc., over the course of his time already. And he had asked me the other night, end of last week, I think Thursday night, we're all sitting on the deck talking, eating, whatever, just having conversation. And he said, "What's wrong with your car?" And I didn't even say anything was wrong with it. I think someone else may have mentioned something, whatever. And I said, "I'm pretty sure the head gasket blew." And he's like, "Yeah, we'll have to take a look at it. We'll have to see, because there might be something we can at least due to it so you can run it a little longer, so you can hold off on getting another car for a while. And Friday morning comes, I get up, I'm working down here. He comes down and he's like, "Hey, I need the keys to your car." And he was already out there pulling stuff off, checking it out, whatever. And so then I go out there when I get a chance in between calls, and he's like, "Hey, he's like, I don't think your head gasket blew." He goes, "I honestly think it's your water pump." And I'm like, "Well, that's odd, because when I ran, anytime I run coolant through it or anything, I was checking everywhere for leaks. There was nothing underneath the car, and it was just all getting sucked in the engine." Well, he was pouring water in, and like just water in and stuff, and it was just coming right out. He's like, "I'm pretty sure it's," so I don't know. It's kind of weird, kind of crazy, but I don't know if it was all going through the back pipes, and I wasn't seeing it or what. But we ended up getting a water pump. He ended up helping me replace it. Car's running again, right? Little things like that. And that's not even really the importance of what's happened or what's gone on in this last week. But I again go back to a simple thing of saying everything in life happens for a reason, right? There's reasons why we have things that happen, right? To reconnect people, to bring people together. There's purpose or reasoning behind why this happens or why that happens. And sometimes it's not always the greatest of times. And sometimes, honestly, it's some of the hardest times. But at the same time, my grandmother passing, basically forcing my dad to come up here, right? Having to come up here. He wouldn't obviously miss it for anything. To bring him up there, for me to see my uncles again, some of my cousins again. One of my cousins that he moved away to, man, I got some crazy stories for you guys, like within family and stuff that you would think you could almost make a movie about them. But one of my cousins, Mike, he had lived in Minnesota forever, and his father, my dad's brother, we lost my Uncle Dallas. It's been what, 10 years now, 12 years now, to a massive heart attack. And since all that, like, a lot's just kind of split up within the family and gatherings and everything else. But my cousin Mike, he was in a relationship. He was married for years, had a couple kids, and about a year and a half, 2 years ago, his son that he had with his ex-wife now, ended up hitting him over the head with like a frying pan, like hard. And his son is bigger than he is, and just whacked him. Like, he lost some teeth, like broke his jaw. Just insane, because his wife, or his son's mother, was cheating, and he found out about it, and he raised his voice. We still don't know if it was kind of set up or if it was a plan or what, to just try to get rid of my cousin. Who knows? But anyway, through all that, he moved away. He moved to like Arkansas or somewhere. So I hadn't seen him, hadn't communicated with him. Just bringing a lot of people together that you just don't touch base with, that you don't talk to enough, that are actually, part of your family. And as tough as it was burying my grandmother, as tough as it was going through all that, having that family around and having people around, like my nephew. I want to touch on my nephew for a minute. He sometimes would be in the chats on my other channel when we're doing card auctions and stuff. He's really into sports, and it's a good thing. He plays baseball, he plays football, he does all that. Took him to a couple Twins games. Kind of wanted to give him a weekend or the time here that, hopefully he'll never forget. And some of you may know and some of you may not know. I mean, I've shared it in the past. I don't talk about it a lot, because it's just kind of that connection I really never really had. I tried to have and I tried to help, but just never had. His dad, my nephew's dad, is my brother or stepbrother. That's my brother or stepbrother that hung himself in prison. What, about a year and a half ago, 2 years ago now? He had been in and out of jail, in and out of prison, juvie when he was younger. I mean, he wasn't ever a good kid. He would steal cars from my dad, my stepmom, and drive them to, like, they were in Central Ocala. He would drive them to Miami, steal them and drive them to Miami. He would steal jewelry from my stepmother and sell it or do whatever for drugs and whatnot. But he did a lot of other stuff outside of that, not just towards his own parents and his own family. And I mean, it's sad, right? It's sad that my nephew's such a great kid, like, continues to play sports, got his head on right, smart kid. And I think it was absolutely amazing that he had the opportunity to come up here, because at one point before they came up, my dad was telling me that he wasn't going to bring Jaden with, and that they were going to drive a different vehicle, and that this wasn't a vacation, which it wasn't for them, right? Family, funeral, etc. But at the same time, I feel it's very important to be able to get that connection, to be able to get that bond, to show him some fun, show him some love. Gave him a bat, one of my son's bats that my son used to use when he was playing, as he, just, he may never use it in games or whatever, but got a game. We went through a bunch of cards together. Not that I would ever say we talk much about cards on this channel. Like, the channel is not for that, but it was a bonding experience to bring him and I together. And the baseball games, like I said, hopefully he'll never forget. They did a jersey giveaway, those baby blue jerseys. They did those on Friday night, like the first 10,000 fans. So he got one of those, which he was super excited about. He obviously didn't want to leave this morning, but it is what it is. But kind of going back to just life in general, and I don't think I've cried as much as I've cried in the last how many days. And we went to my grandmother's. So the service was on Saturday morning, and then she was here. Backstory. So my grandmother. This is how crazy and witty she was. She had planned the whole funeral. She had planned it a long time ago. In fact, my Uncle Mark was telling me that about 15 years or 20 years ago, they had went out. She wanted to go out casket shopping. She picked out her own casket. She picked out the flowers she wanted at her funeral. She picked out the hymn she wanted. She picked out the songs she wanted sang. And the crazy thing is, she picked out because she went to the same church. She was very Catholic. She went to the same Catholic church, and she was a member of it. And there was people in the choir that sing and stuff. She picked out specific people she wanted to sing the certain songs. And one of the ladies from the funeral home, they were out there because they had to. This was in Cannon Falls, which is like, that's where my brother, or my brothers, my dad and his brothers, my uncles and all them grew up, and where they lived for many, many years. She had a house there for over 50 years. It's like 30 miles from us. She was born and grew up, though, in Springfield, Minnesota, which is like 2.5 hours from us. So they had the funeral in Cannon Falls, and then they drove her in the hearse. Monday we had the burial. So Monday, the burial was Monday morning. So there was not as many of us. It was my uncles, my dad, me and my sister, a few other people. But when we got out there, one of the gals from the funeral home, she was actually, it was crazy because she was the daughter of my grandma's best friend, for many years. So she knew my grandmother very well. And she was telling us that one of her last visits that she had with my grandmother in the nursing home, she had told her that she had one final request when she passed. And that final request was that it was a nice day outside when she was buried, that it wasn't raining or, bad weather. And I don't know if she said that because when my grandfather passed, he passed in the wintertime. When we had his burial, it was like -40 with wind chill. Snow was blowing everywhere. I mean, it was super cold. I still remember the day. We got out there Monday, and Monday it was about as clear a day as it could have been. No clouds, sun shining. So, very awesome. Very, 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 very cool. I wish I could give you a big hug. Oh, no, it's all good, man. It's good in the hood. Memories like that are something no one can take away from you, bro. Yeah. What's up, Fester? Yeah. Yeah, his Jaden. Yeah, my nephew Jaden. He'll pop in the chat. I don't even know if he knows. I don't even think he knows about this channel. So he probably doesn't get an alert or anything or doesn't know anything about it. And that's just fine because he should just be paying attention to the card channel when the card channel is when we got something going on there. But yeah, you're right, man. Memories, and that's just it. And I continue to push and I continue to say and I continue to just, we fuss and we gripe and we get pissed off and about crap that's just unnecessary, man. Like we show hate towards people, and for what? Like, where is it getting us? What is it doing for any of us, man? Like, before we know it, we're gonna have somebody probably taking care of us if we make it that long, if we live that long. We're gonna be losing our memories, etc. We're gonna be in those positions. So we have to take advantage of, I hate to say it, yeah, we have to take advantage of the time we have, I brought it up before and I've said it, one of my uncles, my uncle that passed from the brain cancer, his big thing was, time, right? Time continues to tick. You can't set the clock back. You can't rewind it. It continues to tick. And when your time is up, your time is up. And that could be something that is taken at a short time, midlife. You could live a long life. It's insane because all the women in my family, on my mom and my dad's side, like my grandmother, my mom's mother, she is 94 as well. She is still living. She is still alive. She's still going up to our cabin or going up to the cabin, which is absolutely just insane. Both 94 years old. My grandfathers on both sides have been gone for, one's been 25 years, one's been, what was my grandpa? Grandpa Ray was, I think, maybe about 20 years. So the females definitely are outliving the males on both sides of my family. What's going on? So life happening. My mom is getting divorced. Yeah, and that's Amy. I'm sorry to hear that. Divorce is never an easy thing. Divorce is never a good thing. It's very difficult to go through. I know that for a fact. I've told my story before about when my mom and my dad split, and then my dad just kind of disappeared for many years. But yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that they have to go through that. I'm sorry that you go through that. I always tell like my sister and my brother-in-law, like when they're fighting, and I talk to my sister and give her advice, and sometimes she'd be like, maybe I'm just done or whatever. And they've been together for many years now, and she's 7 years older than I am. And I just tell her, I go, being alone sucks, and living life alone sucks. So if you can work it out, if it's not something that's killing you or, that's just super unhealthy, try and work it out. Whether it's, maybe you need counseling. Who knows? My sister's going to be 50 years old, actually on Friday, believe it or not. So what I'm planning on doing is, it kind of sucks. I used to get up to our cabin a lot, but Zoe, my dog, does not get along very well with my parents' dog, Bear. And if other people are up there, she gets along with most dogs, but for some reason, her and my parents' dog just don't ever get along. Like, they fight over like a toy. They'll get super ultra aggressive towards each other. So it's just, I've kind of kept my distance from going to the cabins. Well, my sister and I are going up there. We're leaving tomorrow for the rest of the week, kind of celebrate my sister's birthday and whatnot. And I think what I'm going to do is, a couple of my girls are going to watch Zoe at their mother's house. And I'm going to surprise her and show up there Friday afternoon, Friday evening for her big 5-0. So getting old, man. We're getting old. Like I said, we're sitting here talking about death's a part of life and whatnot. And I'm not getting any younger. That's for dang sure. It's like, I think I brought this up before, but one of my old counselors used to always tell me, I would show up when I used to go in for counseling. I do it all online now. I have a different counselor I've had for a long time. But when I used to go in, I'd be wearing Nike hoodies or whatever, and, jump pants and Nike shoe or whatever I'm wearing, whatever kind of brand is, what. But he would always be like, he was about my age, this counselor was, and he always said to me, why? He goes, I just got to ask you a question. Why do you dress the way you dress? And I just always tell him, I say, because I don't want to get old, man. I don't want to get old. I want to stay young. I don't want to get old. Try to hide that. Try to hide that oldness. I've been through it once, divorce, getting ready to try again this year, but it took me a long time to make this again, and it sucks for her because she deserves. Wow, man. Sorry, Steve. Sorry, brother, man. Sorry for anybody who's going through stuff. Terry, what's up, man? Tedster. Guys, I apologize. In the beginning, when I kind of start talking, I miss a lot of you guys. I say my hellos, the first few people that get in, and then when I kind of jump in, I just kind of start talking and blabbing, and I miss a lot of you guys. Fester, Jim F, BJ, good to see you, man. Dawn, Stevie, Moldy. Let's see. Miss anyone else? Tedster's popped in here. Good to see you. Terry P. Hope you guys are all doing well, man. Hope you guys are all doing well. So yeah, I mean, it's just been an interesting thing. And then, there's part of me too, though, that like my dad is always just maybe indecisive, maybe, says one thing and then it's a different, like when I called him after my grandmother passed, just to see how he was doing and kind of figure out plans of, how long they were coming up here, whether they plan on staying, etc., making sure everything's taken care of. He's like, yeah, we'll probably be up there at least a couple weeks. He's like, I don't really care if we're up there a month, because my stepmother was on medical leave and he had a bunch of time off. And honestly, he should already be retired, but he just doesn't want to. He wants to keep working. So he just doesn't work as much. He works more part-time than full-time. So then he's telling my Uncle Mark, Monday after we buried my grandma, we stopped in the town there in Springfield and we ate food. And when he was saying goodbye to my Uncle Mark, his brother, he's like, yeah, we'll probably head out Thursday. Thinking, okay, this week, Thursday. And then we get back, and then Tuesday night, was it Tuesday night or no, Monday night, then later on, went up there, we were talking, doing something, and he's like, yeah, I'd like to get on the road and get going Wednesday. And even my stepmother was like, Wednesday? Like, I thought we were going to be here for a little while. Nah, I want to get back. I need to get back, etc. I don't know. I don't know if it was more just being here, like in Minnesota, and with everything of, his mom passing. I don't know. It's sometimes it's hard to gauge. It's hard to read. Like I said, I've brought this up before, and I've said this. Like, I never really had that bond, that father son bond. Me and him, we had to take two vehicles when we went out to the burial on Monday. Me and him rode together, and my nephew was actually with my kids. They didn't go to it on Monday. They were there at the funeral on Saturday, but they didn't go Monday. We didn't expect them to. But so he stayed back with my kiddos at their mothers, and then the girls, my sister, my stepmom, and my nieces, they all rode together. The ones that went, but man, it's like a 2.5 hour drive. I mean, we had some conversation, but man, it just not really the same. You know what I mean? Like, I keep trying to find that. I keep trying to do it. I tried to when he had come up here, when we put my grandmother in the nursing home, when it was time, when she was still living at her house, we all tried everything we could with her to keep her in her house, to actually keep her there until she passed. But it just got too difficult. Like, my aunts and them were there. My sister even tried, like, helping, like giving her baths and stuff, and like doing some of that stuff, and her health just declined heavily. Like, it was bad. Like, I think I brought this up when we first put her in the nursing home. When I went to go see her, like 3.5 years ago, she had to be pushed in a wheelchair, and her head was like back. She had lost all this weight. I mean, she looked like she was going to pass any day. And that's then where she kind of had that little phase where we thought we were going to lose her, where she was basically begging to go then. And then they got her into the nursing home, and they started treating her properly, and she was eating. They were keeping her on certain schedules. And then, like, 2 weeks later, we go and visit her. We started visiting her every week, and she's back to old grandma with her weight back on. She's in her rocking chair, reading her paper, responsive to us, etc. But yeah, just when he came up, like, he was up here for, I want to say, 2 or 3 months, like, when that all happened, like, to get everything straightened. And him and my uncle got my grandma's house sold, and because we knew she wasn't going to be able to go back there, which was a hard time. But I remember when he finally left to head back, and I sent him a text, and I just said, basically telling him that I was proud of him for everything he did for grandma, as far as getting the house sold, getting her into the nursing home, checking on her, taking care of her as much as he could. And, I thought maybe at that point that was going to be a spot where maybe would connect us closer. But, I can't blame, and I don't think any of us ever can. We can't blame one person, and we can't we got to put some of it on ourselves as well. I mean, unless we're doing absolutely anything and everything we can to create or keep that connection or to gain that bond, there's always ways, there's always things that we can do better, I feel. And I think sometimes we just either we don't know how to do that, or maybe we're afraid to do that. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's things that we're afraid of. Maybe we're afraid of, it's like that, being afraid of rejection, right? Like, you ever felt like, man, I'm afraid to ask about this, or I'm afraid to say this because I feel like maybe I'll get rejected, or maybe I won't get the proper response, or I won't get the reaction that I'm looking for. I don't know. Thanks, everyone. Says, son's birthday Friday. Get my license back next Friday, and following Monday is my 1 year note to back. Wow, look at you, man. Terry, congratulations, brother. Holy buckets. Son's birthday on Friday. Get your license back next Friday, and following Monday is 1 year, no alcohol, tobacco, or drugs. Baby is planned to be here on July 30th, and then 31st is my anniversary. Dude, man, congratulations, man. That is awesome. And it's always awesome to have things in life to look forward to have different events and accomplishments, if you will. Like you and Balls, man. You and Balls rocking it. Killing it, man. Killing it. That's awesome. Def, you're gonna remember that taco salad ice cream story forever, man. I have a similar memory of visiting mine in our facility. Think about it often. Yeah, man. I really, it's absolutely incredible, and it's always funny because, like, I still remember after we did it and everything, and I still remember like my sister and all them being like, Grandma and them were like, and Dad thought for sure you just wouldn't go. And I'm like, what? And my sister even said, yeah, he's usually, when he says he's going to do something, he usually does it. So, whatever. But yeah, I mean, we had so many conversations, especially in these last couple of years. I mean, the one thing I wish that, looking back, I wish that my kids, they did go and visit her and they did go and see her, but I wish they would have been a little more in tuned to wanting to, they weren't as close as like me and my sister were, but just hearing some of the stories, getting that family back, getting the history in the family and all that going back. So we were out there on Monday. So my great grandparents, and check this out, I was very close to my great grandparents. My dad's, or my grandma's parents, especially my great grandma Sieber. So my great grandma and grandpa Sieber are buried in the same cemetery as my grandpa and my grandma are. They're not right next to each other. They're actually across, like on the other ends. So when we got there, before we got there a little early, about 45 minutes early, before they were going to start the whole service and whatnot. So we went and found my great grandma and grandpa. I still remember when I would go and visit my great grandma, the Sieber, when we go out to Springfield, like I'd usually be with my grandma and maybe my grandpa or whoever. Every time I would go, when I would go and visit her, she would always have $1. She'd always hand me $1 and say, take this, you're gonna need this. That was one thing I always remember my great grandma Sieber doing or giving me. So anyway, so they're there, and then in the other side of town in Springfield, my great grandma and grandpa Dinson, my grandpa's parents, were buried. So we drove to the other cemetery afterwards to see if we could find them. And it was actually kind of funny because my Uncle Mark's like this tall, skinny dude. He's always had really long hair. He's always been kind of like the hippie, whatever. And we're all out there, and it's another huge cemetery. And he's like, okay, he gets out, and there's like the entry gravel road or whatever. He's like, now if everything tells me correctly, and he's like facing like us, like to the back way, and there's still some behind him, he goes, it's somewhere back there. The headstone's facing us this way. So we all split up, and we're all like looking at all these headstones, walking around, trying to find my great grandma and grandpa Dinson. And we about give up because we checked like everything on that whole end. And then we get to we're like walking back to the car. So we're facing the opposite direction, and there's a little bit of area. And all of a sudden my Uncle Mark like sees it. He goes, wait a minute, that's it right there. And it was like right when you turn in the entrance, it was to the right instead of to the left, like he thought it was going to be. And It was like right there. So it was actually kind of funny because we almost gave up, but it was cool because we took the flowers that my grandma had picked out for her own funeral. We had a couple other vased ones that my uncle took with from Saturday to the burial on Monday, and we put one next to my great grandma Grandpa Sieber, and we put one next to my great grandma Grandpa Dinson. So that was cool. It was a cool moment. It was awesome, man. It was a great day. Tough, but a great day. It's great, and people might see it and think I am doing good, but there are still those days where work gets you down or things don't go as planned. Yeah, and that's the hard part, man. It's triggers, right? There's always triggers. Like in an addictive world, addictive mindset, there's always those triggers, those things that can set us off, those things that can take us to the wrong side or take us to the place that we are trying to get away from or have been away from. And that's where you need to, as you continue to work on yourself, have outlets, have things, have either people you can go and talk to, whether it's your wife, a friend, a close friend. Maybe it's going on a walk like I do. I go on a lot of walks. I've been going on a lot of walks lately. I'm telling you. Sometimes I'm going in the morning. I've been getting up really early lately. So I'll go get my coffee, go on a walk with the dog. We'll get back before work starts. I'll work, and then I'll go on another walk after work. You got to have those outlets, find those things that help you. You like the Bucks tonight to win over Phoenix. At home, they obviously have the advantage at home, but I think I'm going to roll with Phoenix tonight. To be honest with you, Fester. And just to let you guys know, this is not to be a sports thing. I did put a tweet out though. If anybody likes to play best ball, Fester might be interested in this. I don't know if anyone else, Steve might be. It's best ball. It's NFL. You don't have to worry about setting any lineups. It picks your top scores for each position for what will be your starting lineup every week. I'm going to start a league through Sleeper. It's an app called Sleeper that a lot of people use for fantasy leagues and whatnot. If anybody wants to, I did a tweet about it. Just put in the tweet or DM me, and I can let you know more about it. It's no maintenance, though. You don't have to worry about setting lineups. Someone gets hurt, it's not going to score that player, etc. It's just, and they tally up your best score for the week out of your players. So evening all when you're saying makes sense, but if you get chance to tell someone what they mean, how you feel, make sure you do it, because if you miss a chance, absolutely, man, absolutely. Like if you don't take the opportunities, it's like they always say too, right? They say, hug your close ones as often as you can. Tell them you love them as often as you can, because you honestly, you never know. And you don't. Like, you just never ever know when our time has come. Let's see. Good to see you, Joby. We're doing all right, man. We're doing good. It's just good to talk. I'm kind of not. This is kind of all over the place, but that's typically how these are going to be. These are just get off my mind, go off of you guys as well, what you guys are saying, the comments you're in. Again, at any time, you guys could always join in. You don't ever have to, but you can. I will post a link just in case someone wants to pop in real quick. We're not going to be on here much longer today because I know that BITG is getting ready to go live. I think Rip and Gypsy and them will be doing their Wednesday night chatter and whatnot. And we have gone almost 50 minutes, which is great. But yeah, I mean, I guess the big thing is, accepting that we all are going to die one day, right? Death is a part of life. We lose a lot of loved ones, close friends over time. But again, it's looking back and celebrating. It's like what I always tell people, like when I find out they've lost a close one, or, think of all the good times. Hopefully there was many good times that you can think of while you're with them. The conversations that you've had with them, the experiences, the knowledge that maybe they've granted you, they've given you, you know, through the time of being with them in conversations, you know, maybe picking up things on how they live, how they go with their day, about their day-to-day lives, how they conquer some of the stuff that, you know, their fears or their struggles, as we all struggle. Yeah, I think Son's got it tonight. Just started walking Sunday, trying to lose weight so I can keep up with my wife when we're hiking. Tenzo, man, I want to ask you something, man. Like, so you started walking. So have you personally yourself, have you felt, and you can just comment it, just answer in the comment if you want. Have you personally felt a difference just mentally, maybe as well as physically, since you started doing it? Do you feel like it clears your head up a little bit? You feel like you're just in a better state after going on your walks? I'm gonna run you off. All right, Stevie, man, I appreciate you joining tonight. As always, lock those horns, man. Love you, brother. Thank you for coming in. Always. It's neat. We had a great uncle and my grandma back last year, and they were 3 or 4 plus from each other. Great grandpa. Yeah, man, it's crazy, right? It's crazy to see that. Just started walking. Man, just listen to this during work. Yeah. Balls, I don't know, man. Sometimes I feel like maybe I'm just rambling about nothing, but I will save my story for when I can go live with you, Def, and maybe it'll change someone's outlook. Yeah, man. I mean, if you want to, we can try to plan maybe next week, or I don't think I'm going to have much time for lives the rest of the week just because of everything that's going to be going on and other people being live. But losing my infant son was the hardest thing I ever gone through. Oh, Moldy, man. I'm sorry, brother. I couldn't even imagine. I could not imagine losing a child. I could never imagine losing a child. I'm sorry, brother, man. I'm surprised you're as good as you are, and I'm sure that most days are tough. I mean, I can't put myself in that position because I haven't been there. But man, that's tough. Sorry, brother. Sorry, man. Sometimes I need to hear you ramble more than you know. Balls. I love you, man. I really do. But yeah, Joby, and that goes for anybody. Like I said, man, as we continue to do these streams, when I do them on this channel, if there's something you want to share, if there's something you want to join in, I'm gonna drop the links, like that invite link. You just paste that and go in. It'll show you in when you want to come in, and I can just add you. But like Joby wants to tell his story on a stream one night, so we can do it. We can start with you on, like, when we first fire up the live. It can be something where you just pop in for a minute or two to say something, drop some knowledge, an experience, a story, something you're going through, a question you have. It really doesn't matter. Whatever it is, we're here for you guys. This is a place for any and everybody to come and go, to listen, to interact, to chat, to maybe help, lend a hand, look for a hand. Maybe you just need a shoulder to lean on, whatever it may be, man. That's what this is for. This is why I generated it. This is why I created this. So yeah, man. I got plenty of stories of many different things, which I'll get into more. You know, as we continue to move forward with this channel. Again, probably looking at like one stream on this channel a week, maybe 2 sometimes. It just really depends. I am gonna plan to also do a mini haha Zoe thing, but I gotta wait till it's a weekend where it's decent weather and it's not too hot, because otherwise she's not gonna last very long. Oh, Moldy, man. I mean, that would be awesome if you wanted to do it. I know that, and let me explain or tell you guys something too that I personally feel. Some people I think, you know, it's hard to talk about anything, that loss of somebody, especially a little one, etc. But talking about stuff, talking and talking about it is very therapeutic, in my opinion. It helps. And that's, again, when I talked about this on the first stream on this channel, why I wanted to do this, why I wanted to separate myself from the other one and have this, because when I streamed almost daily, and it wasn't just auctions once a week, but I was doing other streams like these, interacting, is just talking about life and stuff outside of sports and cards. That's when I was mentally in the best spot in my life since going to rehab and everything else and getting clean. Mentally the best. And talking through things, talking about it helps, man. It really does. It helps a ton. Yeah, man, it'd be an honor, man, if you'd ever want to do that, man. I know that again, probably not easy. Sure, it's not easy. Not gonna be easy, but love it. Love the Zoe Walk vlogs, even though she was camera shy. Chef Balls, don't you miss this pretty face? Chef Balls. Chefy Balls. The good old chef. All right, guys, we are approaching almost an hour. We're at like 56 minutes. I think I got in what I wanted to get in, at least what I could bring together, you know, in this time span. I do feel better mentally and physically, both. Mentally because it's pushing me to lose the weight, because you know what I would do, Henzo, too, though, brother? Don't look at it. I mean, if it was me personally as well, don't look at it as like you're doing it because I get it. You want to lose the weight and get in shape. That's awesome, man. Keep pushing it. But don't try to look at like the walks and stuff. Like, try to look at them as just like something you're wanting to do daily to clear your head and go through your thoughts. The less I think it's like anything. The less you focus on like exactly what you're trying to do at hand, the easier I think it might be. What I'm getting at is, like, if you just pinpoint or tunnel vision so much towards weight loss, like, gotta get this walking because of this, instead of like, hey, I want to go on a walk because I want to just clear my mind, etc., get out, get fresh air, and just doing the same thing, and you're taking less focus on the want to lose weight. I think it might help you more, and you might see even better improvements. I could be wrong, but try to shift your focus on trying to help you more mentally, even though it's going to physically help you as well. And it's going to do that if you continue to stick with it. Yes, exactly. Yes, Balls. That's right. Don't worry about the weight. Your heart thanks you. Right. Just for the general health, mental health, general health, etc. So that's awesome, though. Keep doing it, man. Keep doing it. I'm telling you, walks can be an amazing thing for a lot of different reasons, man. A lot of different reasons. People really don't realize it. Fester, good deal. Fester, if you want to get in that best ball, DM me or hit me up or email me or something. I'll tell you more about it if you don't know about it. It's actually really fun. Anybody else wants to, let me know. But Terry, good night, guys. Moldy, good night. Fester, Joby1, Henzo. Let's see, who else was in here? Stevie left already. Terry P. Amy was in here. She might still be, not sure. Tedster. What else we got? BJ was in here. Dono was in here. Jim F, my man. Appreciate all you guys popping in tonight. Appreciate all you guys listening. Appreciate all you guys interacting. Again, I think it was for a ramble stream. I think it was all right. So, but yes, see you guys soon, man. Message me if you need me for anything. Email, DM, whatever it may be. yeah, and let's continue to have a solid week. We're getting closer to the weekend, and for those of you that continue to crush your goals on not drinking and doing things, keep at it, man. Keep at it, because I know I'm proud of you, and I know there's other people that are a lot maybe close to you that are even more proud of you. So keep it up. Love you guys. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.